Alright. Hey, what is up, guys? It's me, Eddie, and I am back with another episode of Katawa Shoujo. Dear God, the mic is picking up way too much. Yeah. So. Oh, dear God, I'm ready for my throat to start tearing itself up again. Let me do a very quick sound check, and then we'll get started. Alright, everything looks good. Let's get started. Oopsies. That's not what I meant to do. An alarm blares into my ears, only to be quickly silenced by my fist. Actually, hold on. Let me get this opened up on let me find the guide. Boom. Okay. Let me just adjust my... Yeah, okay, there we go. My alarm blares into my ears, only be swiftly silenced by my fist. My body twitches into auto mode, carrying my subconscious self out of bed and into unit... Oh yeah, that's... God, I feel that. As always, the bottles of pills wait on my desk impatiently, waiting for me to take them and pick out the daily dosage of medicine. 17... Dear God. 17 pills a day. Before I know it, I'm opening the door to class 3-3. Glad to see I'm not the only one who seems a little hungover from the festival week. Every face in the classroom looks gaunt. With the festival over, it's as if everyone's dreams have been achieved. Everyone's life dreams have been achieved. With nothing left to live for, the students have relied on instincts alone to guide them to class. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Hold on, sorry. I slowly make my way to my seat, and it's only then that I realize why the room is so peaceful. The seats beside mine are blissfully empty. The world's loudest interpreter for the deaf has yet to arrive. Oh, lovely! Just as I am about to sit down, the door flies open, revealing a resplendent Misha, drills bobbing from the dramatic entrance and arms stretched towards the sky. Oh, Misha. Oh, Misha. What would we do without you? Goddamn, Misha, so based. Yahoo! It's all over. Hold on, let me go throw some shit out. Give me a sec. Alright, I am back. It would appear that not everyone is affected by the post-festival depression. The rest of class glared at her, obviously thinking the same thing I am. Misha, still frozen in the doorway with her arms still in the air, nervously looks around. It's obvious that she senses a foul mood, but can't work out exactly what to do. Suddenly, she jerks forward. Hey! As she stumbles into the classroom, she reveals Shizune, arms still extended from where she moved Misha. Thank you for the entertainment, but should you two take your seats? No, this is fun. Still embarrassed, Misha takes a few seconds to realize she has to translate. Oh yeah, she says she's not happy with you ditching us last week. I did? I might have forgotten about that. It's been more than a week for me. We were really busy. Is that so? What about the stuff I already did for you two? Ah. She says that only counts for council members. Since you declined, she doesn't owe you anything. Misha leaves closer and whispers conspiratorially into my ear. Actually, I think she's just sore that you didn't spend the day with her. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! She's really thankful for your work last week, though. To my knowledge, the Amy route sort of branches off very early. Amy's route and Shizune's route branches off very early, whereas this route doesn't. So if that doesn't make any sense to you, basically, this is the route. Amy and Rin's route, Amy and Shizune's route, both branch off very early. So I believe that at this point during I clearly remember, at this point during Amy's route, it was already pretty well established that I was like Amy's partner. Whereas here, I still actually can decide between Hanako, Lily, and Rin. I still haven't locked in to a single route yet, I believe. Have I? Actually, I'm not sure. Actually, I think I have locked into Hanako's route at this point. It's just I've just barely done so. And obviously to the people here, it's probably not obvious at the festival yet, because they don't look at things in terms of routes. They're just like, you're all alone. She's really thankful for your work last week, though. Sensing she is being talked about, Shizune lightly wraps her fingers on her desk until Misha turns around to face her. She does like me. I can't understand any of the fast-paced signing that's going on, but from Shizune's slightly embarrassed expression and Misha's poorly contained laughter, I can guess. While this exchange is happening, the door opens once again, but at this time, a much more reasonable pace. Hanako quietly enters the room and pulls the door closed behind her. Peering out from under her hair, she quietly scans the classroom. Our eyes meet, and she suddenly stiffens. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and walks over to my desk. Good morning, Hisao. Morning, Hanako. You're a little late, aren't you? I was talking to Lily. About today. So you've got her list then. We can leave straight after classes in that case. Sure. I'm looking forward to it. Hanako briefly flashes her embarrassed smile at me, then hurries off to her seat. Awkward. During classes, it becomes apparent that it's not only the students that are a little despondent after the festival. Muto simply gives us the exercise from the textbook, then sits behind his desk. I totally forgot about a brief lunch period for a moment. Such is the banality of the day. Let me turn on a fan. Dear God, it's hot in here. Mind-numbing, everyone seems surprised when the bell signals the end of the lessons. As I am packing up bags, Misha and Suzune flank and entrap me. Seihi-chan, it's still not too late to join up. Wait. There's a lot of post-festival work for us to complete. Sorry, Misha, I've got plans. Oh, ouch! As if sensing the cue, Hanako appears behind me, holding a small bag, and trying to avoid eye contact with the outside world. Misha's eyes open wide, then she bursts into laughter. You move fast, don't you, Hee-chan? We won't disturb your date any further. Bahahaha. Misha's the goat, seriously. Behind the roaring, I see Shizune taking far too little interest in the scene. I may be taking this the wrong way, but I think she's deliberately ignoring me. Ouch, that actually kind of hurts. I feel a gentle tug on my shirt. Aww, and see Hanako's eyes fixed firmly on the floor. Let's... Got you, Shizune. Misha, I'll see you later. Gotcha, Shizune, Misha, I'll see you later. And I'm still not interested in the council. Spoil sport. Misha and Shizune retreat into the hallway, happily signing to each other. Got all your stuff? Let's head off. Floods of students pour out of the school gates and onto the road into town. It's a little weird. It's almost a scene from any high school, but the illusion fades because of the occasional wheelchair or missing limb. Wow. One thing I do notice is that nobody's alone. And as Hanako and I pass through the gates, I notice that she closes the distance between us. Not enough to be considered close, but she certainly isn't at her usual just a little far position. I guess we're not familiar for her to get as close as she does with Lily. However, even though she's moved a little closer to me physically, mentally she seems to have traveled a mile. Her hands clutched around the leather straps to her back to the point of whitening her knuckles. Her head down and her mouth pursed closed. She almost looks like she's walking to the principal's office for the first time. I try to stifle a giggle at the thought, but it is futile. What's the matter? I guess there's no point in hiding it. Sorry, for a second there, it looked like you were getting in trouble. What do you mean? I think you need to relax a little. We're not going too far, and it's only students around, right? Right. Bothers me a little to see Hanako so worked up. You do this every week, don't you? Yes, with Lily. Of course, with Lily. I wonder, has she ever left the school without her? Doesn't look like much at first glance, but Hanako's dependence on Lily is absurdly heavy. If she can't even handle leaving the school without her, how would she have managed to survive if the two had never met? Would she have found someone else to latch onto, and what drew her to Lily? Was it her lack of eyesight, or was Lily just kind enough to lend a hand? I wonder if anyone would have fit the bill. Well, I'm here. Besides, we're not going far. It'll be over before you know it. Hanako's knuckles slowly regain their color as she tries to hide a small smile, but the effort of that seems to prevent further conversation. We travel side by side down the winding road towards the town. The crowd of students thins as we continue along the sidewalk. Faster students rush ahead, and less mobile ones fall behind, rarefying the crowd into nothingness. By the time we reach a convenience store, we are practically alone. Using me as a shield between herself and the attendant, Hanako moves through the narrow aisles, adding an assortment of items to her basket. Bread, milk, tea, thyme. What kind of convenience store sells herbs? Then again, nothing about this town seems normal, which may not be such a bad thing in retro. Yeah, it looks a lot more relaxing for one. Everything is so different and uncomfortable. Dwelling on such matters isn't really an option. When I think about that, it reminds me of Hanako. No matter how much you try, you can't escape her scars. They interrupt my train of thought whenever I see them. As much as I don't want to admit myself, I think I'm forcing myself to try to ignore them. Not that I'm scar-free myself. The jagged line down my sternum will never completely fade away. I just have the luxury of being able to hide it easily. But, in a way, both of our scars remind me that we're all in this place for a reason. Hanako throws one last item into her basket, then sheepishly holds it out to me, along with a few banknotes. Could you please... Takes me a second to understand what she's trying to say. Oh, you want me to pay for this? She nods but doesn't look up. I guess this task falls to Lily on the usual occasions. Sure, let me just grab a couple things. Hastily, I grab a few essential items for myself and head to the counter with Hanako in close tow. The attendant gives me an indifferent nod as he scans the items. I suppose just ignoring one is one of the ways to deal with the anomalies of Yamaku. They must get a lot of students here, being the closest store to the school. The staff must have their own way of dealing with this. Or maybe they don't. Maybe it's only me who thinks twice about my unique schoolmates. Our transaction complete, Hanako and I head back out onto the street. The road is pretty much abandoned now. The students that were heading out have already left, and nobody has started returning just yet. And with the only school ahead on the road, there doesn't seem to be anyone else around. And with only the school ahead on the road... Okay. The emptiness certainly reflects on Hanako, her arms by her side, each carrying a bag, her head no longer bowed and back to the upright position. It's almost as if you were enjoying this walk. So, why are all these weird things? Mixed spice, why would you need that in school? I sometimes like to make food. That's a ballad. Well, yeah, but so do I, but spices? That's a little more advanced, don't you think? Not really. Well, I think it's cool. You'll have to teach me one day. Aww. Sure. She doesn't seem all that sure, but pushing the point doesn't seem all that wise. At the very least, she seemed a great deal happier than she did on the walk down here. That alone makes me a little happier. Aww. Outside the girls' dorm, Hanako and I sort out the grocery bags with our respective purchases. In comparison, my things look positively plain. I can tell you're putting me to shame here. No, I'm not. I'm only joking. Aww. I have a stack of homework I skipped last week, so I must leave now. Oh dear God. Will you be alright getting that to your room? Yeah. Oh. Sure. Okay then, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Part ways and I return to my room. Piles of paper sit upon my desk, begging to be completed. With the entire ruckus of last week, I've barely had any time to catch up. I try to keep up with my studies while I was in the hospital, but some of the stuff I've never seen before, even back in my old school. Totally unprepared, I pop open the top of a can of a drink, the top on a can of drink, and get to work. Ay. Work. Oh God. Days are really starting to heat up. This morning I woke covered in sweat. I feel that. By the time the student body starts leaving their dorms for breakfast and morning duties, the sun has already taken full effect. Oddly, that puts me in high spirits. It's not even 8 yet. I feel this day is going to be one of those pleasant, tranquil, warm ones. If I weren't at a school that considered every absence from class as a sign of a life-threatening situation, I'd consider skipping the whole day and just relaxing in the school gardens. Yes, today will be a genuinely lazy day. For a second, I stop in mid-stretch and consider the nurse's warning about exercise. Maybe I should have kept up those boarding jobs. You haven't? Running with someone like Amy might be a little testing, but if I worked at my own pace, oh dear God. Who am I kidding? I couldn't stick to something like that with some kind of motivation. Not dying. It sounds like pretty good motivation to me. I don't know why you're skipping out on this, man. Exercise or find some other way. Oh my God. It's not like I like to sit around all day. The walk to and from the convenience store counts as exercise, right? Especially the walk back from up the hill. It's not a big deal. Compared to months lying in a hospital bed, I'm getting plenty of exercise. Are you? I hope so. I hope that's true. It seems I'm not alone in the appreciation of the day. Nearly every member of the class is glancing through the window and into the tantalizing sky. Even the steadfast Shizune seems to lack her usual vigor for schoolwork. Misha, as brazen as ever, has unbuttoned the top of her shirt and is fanning herself with a notebook. Ooh la la. I must have been staring, as now she's sticking her tongue out at me. However, she shows no sign of halting her efforts, nor is she trying to hide the fact. Why is there no Misha around? The lunch bell seemed to catch everyone by surprise, and the class empties at a much slower pace than usual. The heat seems to be draining the need to rush from everyone. Well, almost everyone. Hiso? I need water, sorry. Hiso? Hey there, Hanako. What can I do for you today? Hanako already has a lunch bag in hand. I'm gonna have to be a detective to work out where this is going. Would you like to have lunch with us again? I brought enough for everyone. Awesome. You don't have to be so stiff about it, though. Ah, right. I take it we're going to the tea room. Please. Lily said we'll meet us in there, so we should go ahead together. Whoa! Cute. Sounds like a plan. This heat has made me pretty hungry. Hanako breathes a sigh of relief, and I gather my things together. As usual, the aura of the tea room is refreshing, feeling isolated from the rest of the world. Then again, the usual din of the school seems to be a bit subdued, most likely from the laziness promoted by the heat exhaustion. Hanako slowly spreads her food on the table, intently focused on every little movement, as if she's trying to keep her mind off of other thoughts. It's not much, but I can tell from her demeanor she has prepared everything with utmost care. I guess Lily isn't here yet. Should we start without her? She'll be here soon. Hanako struggles with the lid of the container of rice. Here, let me help with that. I take the container from Hanako's hand and try to force open the lid. Try as I might, it seems wedged shut. Let me guess. Did you put this in while the rice was still hot? Yes, I was in a rush. I put the container on the table between us. I thought so. Looks like this is wedged shut. We'll need some hot water to get it open. Really? I've never heard of that before. That could be a pain in here. We get water everywhere. Well, in that case, how about I contribute to today's meal? Lily! At the door, Lily smiles while holding up a bag stocked with various buns and bread rolls. I can't help but do the same. Hanako seems to as well. Since you two had a change of plans because of me, I thought I would bring a little something. Thanks, Lily. Here, let me get that for you. Aww. With that little guidance, Lily's bread assortment joins Hanako's riceless platter. Ouch. I hastily make some tea to complete the picture. Well, I'm looking forward to this. As I take a bite, I notice Hanako trying her hardest not to look like she is looking at me. It's nothing special, but then again, I can't really complain. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to cooking for myself. Yeah, same. Same. I can't. I must say, same. Oh, there are so many recipes I want to try that I've just never gotten around to doing. Not bad, I guess this is made with the stuff you bought yesterday. Yes. Hanako's eyes shout at me, begging for some kind of feedback. Oh, clearly it was worth it. Thanks, Hanako. I wanted to show you this after yesterday. It's okay, I was a little surprised at the stuff you were buying. Lily's always liked to experiment when it comes to food. I think it's good, most of the time. While Lily's smile doesn't waver. The slight change in her tone tells me things have not gone so well in the past. It's not like Hanako has many people to sample her cooking. Hold on. Was Lily waiting for me to go first? Oh god, that's... Oh, Lily, you are hilarious. She didn't start eating until I said it was alright. Her cheeky grin tells me that this was a deliberate action on her part. I'll have to try and work out how to get one over her in the future to make up for this. Well, it's good and all, and that's all that counts, right? Right. Lily, satisfied at not being the first to sample Hanako's creation, begins to consume the food in front of her. I find myself staring as I watch her chopsticks gently touch the plate, their tips delicately poking and tracing to quickly ascertain the portions of food as she dexterously picks it up. One might think she were a child playing with her food, if not for the situation, though she does it with such care and thoughtlessness that it's obvious that this is simply how she eats this kind of meal. Not wanting to miss out, I start filling up myself. Hanako takes a different approach, waiting until Lily and I have our hands cleared before quickly snatching up her share. Before the long, the containers are empty save for the still shut rice container. Thank you, Hanako, that was filling. No, thank you for the bread. Yes, it would have been a disaster if not for that. You're both welcome. But now I must be getting back. It's far too easy to be late after eating here. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think we'll just clean up here, then head off. Well then, good day. Lily leaves, her cane tapping away down the quiet hallway. Hanako and I quickly pack up our things and stay seated, waiting for the bell. Together we stare out the window and into the endless azure sky. If it weren't for the pealing of the bells, I would have sworn that time had stopped. Urge to skip class rises in my gut. I shoot a glance at Hanako, who shows no sign of moving either. Not just yet. Aww. Aww. The interval between the warning bells and the end of lunch bells passes in the blink of an eye. We really should go. People will freak out and start a search party if we skip. Hanako sighs. You're right. Slowly she rises to her feet, and I follow suit. Silently, we make up our way to the old stairs to the 3rd floor, then to our classroom. At the door, I take point and I open the door ahead of Hanako, bowing my head down in apology in advance. Sorry we're late, teacher. I'm greeted not by stern words, nor by an angered instruction to take my seat, but simply by the silence created by 15 or so students trying not to laugh. I can't blame them. Muto, ever tardy, has yet to arrive. Oh. Oh god. However, the fact that Hanako and I arrived together is blatantly obvious. Make that about 14 students trying and 1 student failing. The lovers return. Wahahaha. The lovers return. Wahahaha. Yeah, thanks. You can calm down now. I step through the door and realize that Hanako is firmly pressed against my back. Well, if it wasn't obvious then, it is obvious now, Shizune. I step through the door and realize that Hanako is firmly pressed against my back, hiding herself from the class. With my steps coming closer to the desk, she eventually breaks from me and stiffly walks to her own. Her efforts to mentally block everyone's presence from her mind are written fairly clearly on her face. Quickly checking the door for any sign of the teacher's arrival, I make a trip to Hanako's desk and whisper in her ear. Don't worry about Misha. She's always like this. Enjoyed myself today. Don't sweat it, okay? Hanako nods her head behind her folded arms, but still doesn't show her face. Shouldn't Hanako know Misha better than me? I yearn to stay and console her more, but Muto picks this exact moment to enter the class, halfway through his lecture, as if he started in the hallway. Which of course is directly proportional to the change, but inversely proportional to the square of the distance. He's so engrossed in his speech, he doesn't even notice me sneaking back into my seat from Hanako's desk. Ah, I love Muto. While Muto's spiel rambles on, Misha leans over to me. The teacher may not have noticed your tardiness, but I did. That much is obvious from the show you just put on. I have instructed to let you off the hook for today, but only on one condition. Oh, and what would that be? You have to help us this afternoon. I crane my look over to Misha's shoulder. Shizune is conveniently not making eye contact with me. Fine, just for today. I already told you I'm not joining the council, remember? Of course, doing so would be considered. She looks at her notebook, obviously looking for a place in her script. Under duress and hence would be against regulations. Very strange of you can be considerate of the regulations now. Things should be done by the book. It's just the book has been written for every situation. There are times when it can be ignored. Oh, Misha. Goddamn, you were so based. And yet you two wonder why... Okay, that is mean. And yet you two wonder why no one else wants to be in the student council. After poking her tongue out at me, Misha returns to her workbook, and we battle our way through the latter half of the school day. I love that! Wait. They just zoom in so quickly. That's hilarious. Before I could even stand up, Misha and Shizune have placed their hands on both of my shoulders. Uh-oh, am I in danger? Hey, said it'd help out, damn. This is just insurance, Hisao. Insurance! Hisao? Hanako timidly tries to leave the room by circling around as I suddenly realize that this may be my one chance to escape. Oh hey Hanako, what's up? Hey, what makes you think you've got time to chat? Oh, relax, this won't take long. Sorry, Hanako, you were saying? I was going to the library and I thought... Hanako's thumbs dance around each other, and her eyes flit around the room, looking everywhere but at us. Sorry, Hanako, but he sought us to come with us. He's got work to do. Oh, but you can help too if you'd like. Oh, come on. So, how about it, Hisao? Ooh. Okay. Okay. So remember what the advice was, looking at the guide and telling me is that I should press what do you think, Hanako? Which, by the way, I'm just gonna say this up in front. That's what I would say because honestly, I have promised these two that, you know, realistically, what I would do is this is what I would say. Realistically, this is the choice I would take. But we're going for the choice I wouldn't take. And according to this spoiler-free walkthrough, when asked to help out in the council, is choose I've done enough work for the council already. That can lead to Hanako's bad or neutral ending. But realistically, I feel like this is what I would choose. I feel bad choosing this, though. I feel bad. Like I can't break... I'm breaking a promise. God damn. Hey, I know I said I'd help, but I forgot I'd already made plans. Besides, I already helped out more than my fair share last week, didn't I? I promise I'll make it up to you some other time. I don't like doing this. Shizune and Misha release their grip on me and have a long, deep, and silent conversation. Well, you have a point there. To be honest, we were only going to spend the rest of the budget on cakes. Misha, you are so based. So if you're not there, it works out better. More cake for us. Wahahaha. I feel like there's a bit of... I feel bad. Shizune about faces and marches out the door, and Misha skips out after her. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Last week, those two were like bloodhounds or prison guards. Or maybe prison guards bred from bloodhound. That's rude. They're chill. Well, they're not chill, but... I can't believe I just thought that, let alone saying it out loud. I think I need to move away from Kenji. You really do. Never mind that. Anyways, should we go to the library? Sure. I kind of feel bad, though. Hanako follows me through the still crowded hallways to the library, using me as a shield. As soon as we are through the door, Hanako bolts from the counter where Yuko is stacking books. Before I could catch up, Hanako has whispered something to her. You'd find that in nonfiction, but I don't know where it is exactly. If you want, I can look it up. Never mind. Hey Yuko, what's all this about? Oh, he saw Hanako was just looking for a book on... nothing. A book on nothing in the nonfiction section. Aww. I shoot a glance at Yuko. She looks like she's about to burst from the pressure of keeping Hanako's request secret. Yuko, what did... Chess, she's looking for a chess book. I make a mental note to never entrust Yuko with any important information. Yuko! I'm sorry, Hanako, it just slipped out. Well, it's not a secret anymore. Come on, I'll give you a hand. I should really brush up on my skills, too. Oh, okay. Yuko disappears behind the counter in shame as Hanako and I wander to the depths of the non-fiction section. There's supposed to be a system for categorizing these books. But I don't see how anyone can decipher it without spending half their life researching it. That's probably why all the librarians I know are neurotic. Towards the end of the aisle, between a book on card tricks and some on kids' games, stands a single book bearing the title Chess Tactic for Champions. Aww. I already know I'm on a doomed route, though, that's the thing. Before I can reach for it... Before I can reach for it, Hanako has the book in her hands, clutching it to her chest. Well, I guess that's yours then. Mind if I borrow it when you're finished? Sure. I just really haven't played against anyone but Lily before, so I thought, damn, it's not like I was trying to beat Hanako deliberately or anything, but she seems to have taken it to heart. Then again, at least this means she wants to play me again. That's a plus, right? Ah, well, it's not like I'm a master or anything. I've just played a bit before. It occurs to me I haven't told Hanako about my condition. I falter for a second, deciding to cover my tracks. That is a conversation for another day. Before I came here. Are you alright? Yeah, I was just remembering something. When I think about it, I shouldn't be afraid to tell Hanako about my condition and my time in the hospital. Judging by her scars, she probably spent a fair amount of time in a hospital. She probably spent a fair amount of time in a hospital bed. But for some reason, I can't bring it up. Why not? At least not today, not on short notice. Eager to break off the conversation, I grab a random book from the shelf. It's some book on the world's fastest roller coasters. Published in 1982. Well, not very up to date, but it should at least be interesting. Speaking of outdated books, I really wanna get buy some copies of Jane's Fighting Ships. Someday. And I'm not talking about the modern ones. I'm talking about the old ones. I want to look at Dreadnoughts, baby. Well, we got both books now. Should we go sit down? Hanako seems to have seconded my bluff, and we head to the reading nook in the back of the library. Neither of us say a word. We simply open our books and start reading. I try to read my book, but it would seem that in 1982, roller coasters weren't nearly as large as the ones built in the decade since. Most of the ones listed are made out of wood. Wait, roller coasters are still made out of wood as recently as 1982? I thought it was like 1960s. Most of the ones listed are made out of wood. Something about that doesn't seem safe to me. You're overestimating it. Wood can be stronger than you'd expect. Oh, if I'm gonna write on something potentially dangerous, I want it to be made out of steel or some kind of space age alloy that has big words like titanium and ruthenium. I don't know what ruthenium is. I quickly lose interest and my eyes wander across a reading area to rest on Hanako. What about aluminum? Aren't they made out of like aluminum or something? No, steel mostly, I believe. It should mostly be made out of steel. Titanium, that would be way too expensive. That's like shit you use for like advanced spy planes that's shit you use on like fighter jets and whatnot. That's like military stuff. Titanium or like advanced science research laboratories or like icebreakers. Actually, icebreakers are still probably made out of steel. I'd say like some certain titanium. Like that's way too expensive. Yeah, like advanced research vessels or spaceships or something. I quickly lose interest and my eyes wander across the reading areas to rest on Hanako. Aww. Is it just me or is it like slowly zooming in? Hanako seems absorbed in her book, flinching back and forth through the pages as if confirming what she just read. You are so cute. I wonder if that's actually effective, or she's just overloading herself. She unconsciously brushes her hair from her face, temporarily revealing her scar tissue. I'm still not sure about the protocol here. Is it okay to ask her about the scars, or her past, how long she was in the hospital? Does she still visit the doctor? These all seem like the questions you'd ask someone who just transferred to your school. Translated into the local language. But to date, no one has directly asked any of them. Well, except for Rin, but I don't think we should use her as a guide to proper social behavior. Rin and Misha, honestly. The goats. For the time being, I'll just keep my mouth shut. If someone wants you to know something, they'll tell you. Trying to force the issue might drive Hanako back into herself. Counterpoint. I feel like you'd be willing to bring up your heart condition if Hanako asked. Sorry to interrupt, but I have to close the library now. Already? I checked my watch. Somehow, as I was lost in thought, nearly 2 hours have passed. If you want to check out those books, I could do it on the way out. Please. I'm done. I'll drop this one back on the way, though. It wasn't as interesting as I first thought. Hanako marks her place with a slip of paper and stands up. The girl heads to the counter, and I return my book to what I think is the right shelf. Yuko scans the Hanako's book with practiced precision, yet still manages to fumble it. Oh, there we go. Third time lucky. Since this is a non-fiction book, you can only have it for a week. That's okay. Yuko shuts down the library's computer and herds us out the door. Ark, I didn't think it was late this already. You're the one that told us you had to close. Yes, but I know that was before I looked at the time. I'll see you later. Yuko bolts down the hall, her handbag trailing behind her like an awkward streamer. I guess all librarians really are neurotic. Huh? Never mind. I was just thinking I've never met a librarian that could organize their time, no matter how good they are with their books. I know what you mean. Aww. Hanako smiles in amusement. It wasn't meant to be a joke, but I must have reminded her of some other librarian or something. I have to get back. Yeah, me too. I didn't realize it was this late. Thanks for letting me hang out with you. No problem. I'm going to my dormitory room now anyway, so do you mind if I tag along? Okay. Hanako sets off ahead of me, and I just need to jog a little to reach her side. We walk through the gardens, eventually arriving in front of the dorm buildings. Man, you walk pretty fast. I used to play in the soccer club, and you managed to outpace me. I kind of regret saying that. It has less to do with her pace than the fact that my condition has significantly worsened my fitness. Start working out, buddy. Hanako's reaction is odd. Like, seriously, dude. I mean, like, obviously, yeah, you're not ever gonna get quite to the fitness you get in Amy's route, but dude, come on. Hanako's reaction is odd. I expected an awkward attempt to downplay her walking speed, but she just blushes while looking at her feet and smiling. Silence hangs in the air between us. That happens often around Hanako, but feels slightly different than usual this time. After a few seconds, I try to break the silence. Here you go. See you in class tomorrow? Sure. Hanako waves a short goodbye before pushing her way through the doors. I stand and look at them for a while before making my way to my own dormitory room. And that's the day? Wow. Chirping birds. Normally, this would be a good time to reflect upon the beauty of nature. But it is 6 a.m. Covering my head with the pillow... With the pillow, I slam my face into the mattress, hoping that the impact will send me instantly back to sleep. Futile. I toss and turn, but sleep simply won't return to me. Alright, nature, you've won. See, I'm getting up now. Lack of sleep weighs my mind down, and there's only one remedy for this. A nice, hearty breakfast. It would be nice to be the first person here. To be the first person to dig into a piping hot pile of food, to sit wherever I desire. It would have been nice, but even my exceptionally early start has put me behind the most diligent students. I guess there are quite a few people that have early starts here for one reason or another. A group of students in sports clothes huddle around one table, eagerly discussing game plans between inhaling great gulps of food. Scattered around the hall are a number of bleary-eyed students, probably suffering from the same ailment as myself. Noisy birds. Wait, seriously? And of course there are people that actually enjoy getting up this early, the ones with their backs stuffed with textbooks and completed homework. It's hard not to despise people like that, even more so when you're tired yourself. Picking out a familiar face from the thin crowd, I head towards the nearest table. Amy? Oh! Lily sits alone, delicately feeling her way around a small plate of eggs with her fork. It's almost a shame to interrupt her in her clockwork movements. I wonder, is this how a blind person zones out? Simply moving in a predetermined pattern learned over the years, just like how a sighted person would eat while reading a newspaper. Good morning, Lily. I didn't expect you to be here this early. Oh, Hisao, you startled me. I didn't know you took breakfast this early. I don't. This is an exception to the rule. I greatly prefer to be late to school than early to breakfast. Lily gives a small sigh at my admitted tardiness as I begin eating my food. Yeah, I'm definitely doing Lily's route next. It doesn't take long for her to lapse back into her previous mindless nibbling. Each short motion lacks energy. I suppose this is similar to letting your eyes wander while performing any ordinary chore. But after a few repetitions of the find food, eat food cycle, Lily puts down her fork and dabs her lips with a napkin. Hisao, do you mind if I ask you a question? Damn. All I want is a little food and about 4 extra hours of sleep. And someone says, can I ask you a question? For a simple question. Sure. Do you think of Hanako as a friend? Oh, that seems like a leading question. I guess so, why do you ask? No real reason. I do have another question, though. Why is it that you think of her as a friend? This is well above my level. What is she expecting from me? I'm not sure. I guess it's because she's a little different in the way she deals with people. Since I've known her, she hasn't really connected with anyone. She doesn't seem interested in other people. I think people are a little scared off by her appearance. Really, I thought the thing was kind of discriminating and such. If I were to put it one way, she furrows her brow in thought, a move which makes me slightly anxious as to what she's plucking from her mind. I'd say that you're a little naive. Naive? I'd be insulted if not for the slightly cynical grin on her face. I see? While Yamako has a stronger sense of community compared to other schools, it's far from being free of conflict. Rules cannot remove human nature, after all, only suppress it. That's something I've noticed, actually. Just little things, like how certain people and cliques avoid each other in hallways. It's no different than my old school, really. Even Lily and Shizune could be considered bitter rivals, even though they both seem like fairly accepting people. Well, at least Misha tinted Shizune does. Who knows what actually goes on with her fingers behind her glasses. I guess you're right, but when I first came here, everything was a bit of a shock. I kept on making mistakes, or at least thinking I was making mistakes. Like when we first met and I said, I see, to you. I don't know if that was considered rude or anything, so I just tried to put it in the back of my mind, treating people any differently and that kind of thing. So I didn't. I told myself that Hanako and you and everyone else is normal and tried to ignore the obvious. I tried to talk to Hanako as if she were any other person, and so we became friends. Now that you put it that way, that actually just makes me realize how much of just how great Hisao really is. At least that's how I think it happened. But you know, I feel guilty from saying something like that aloud, as if it took extra effort to think of Hanako or you or anyone else here as normal people. I don't think that's right. Hisao's actually a really awesome guy, damn. I mean, I've known that, but I feel like this puts things into perspective. Hisao, I think you're naive, but I think that you are a good person. It is perhaps one of your better traits. Aw, thank you, Lily. I suppose I could take that as a compliment. Tell me, are you free tonight? Ooh, you don't count homework, then I'm as free as a breeze. In that case, would you care to join myself and Hanako for tea? I don't really have much money at the moment, so going out isn't really... Oh, I didn't mean going out, just here, this evening. You can access the classrooms in the evening here. No, that's not what I meant. Hanako and I often use my room for tea parties together. Oh! Please feel free to drop by after dusk. Oh! Sure, I see no problem with that. What's your room number? 225. Room 25 on the second floor. Okay, sure. Well then, I better be off. I have class representative duties to attend to, after all. Until this evening, Hisao. Yeah, catch you later. Hang on, was I just invited to a girl's room after hours? Is that even allowed? There's a curfew here, but I've never heard any rules about visitors in the dorm rooms. Even still, this is enough to get my sleep-deprived brain jump-started. Ooh la la! Add that to a lukewarm breakfast and you have one hell of a pick-me-up. Oh ho ho! I grudgingly go to class, still a little excited at the prospect of breaking the rules. I feel like a little kid planning to sneak out of his window at night. Well, maybe that's going a little too far, but when you compare an invitation to a party to 6 or so hours of lectures, I know which one wins. Misha and Shizune do little to relieve my boredom either. For once, they seem determined to actually complete Muto's assignments. Nevertheless, the day eventually winds to a close. I hurry back to my room to wash up and comb my hair. Thankfully, I don't run into Kenji. Before long, I am leaving the boys' dorm. I nervously rap on the door marked 225, checking my watch once again. Is that you, Hisao? The door is open. You can come in. Lily's voice lilts through the door and soothes my nerves. This is the first time I've been invited to a girls' dorm after dark. My second, Hisao. Another timeline. Even though I know there's no ulterior motive behind this invitation, it doesn't stop my mind running wild with possibilities. I can't blame you. I can't blame you. One guy, 2 girls in a dorm room with a tea set. When you put it like that, it sounds a little dodgy. Well, not the tea set bit, but yeah. Giving a small sigh to steady myself, I gingerly put my hand on the handle and opened the door, craning my head to see inside. Aww. The door opens completely, and I catch my first glance of Lily's room. Her furniture looks almost antique, but the bare walls and flat surfaces are barely decorated at all. Well, I mean, dorm architecture. In the center of the room sits a low table where I see a small tea set at rest. Almost makes me forget that I'm on a doomed route, and I made a choice that I would realistically not make. Wow. Let me just look at this for a sec. Damn. Damn. It seems that everything in this room has its place, possibly excepting the several piles of books stacked up against the wall. My sense of vision isn't the only one to be stimulated. The faint smell of something can be picked up on the air. Nail polish, perfume, makeup. It's hard to describe it any way other than girly. Ooh. My eyes finish their quick sweep of the room before returning to their position onto the girls. Lily sits next to the small table, wearing very dark blue pajamas. Dark blue pajamas with shorts that show off plenty of those alluring pale legs. Ooh. Opposite of her, Hanuka sits adorned in a conservative light pink gown. Her hands are firmly fixed between her legs, shoulders forward, and her head down as if trying to hide herself in it. It would be easy for her to do so. It looks 2 sizes too big for her. Waves of flannel flow through her frame, making her look like a child playing dress-up in her parents' clothes. She looks to confirm my identity, and the beginning of a thin smile creeps across her face before vanishing so fast, I can't be sure if they were ever there. There's no point in you standing in the doorway, Hisao. Wow. Wow. I take a step into the room, closing the door behind me. My. I'm afraid this is a really small room for the 3 of us. Would you like to take a seat? Oh, I'm liking this. I slowly walk to the table and sit down, trying my hardest not to disturb anything along the way. I also can't help but steal a quick glance into Lily's top as I sit. Oh, to be robbed of a sight would be a most terrible fate. Well now, oh god, it's a good thing Lily's blind. Well now, how about some tea, Hanako? Could you please pour? Sure, Hisao would you? Ooh, she's red. Would you like... I would love some tea. Do you need a hand? No, I'm fine. Thank you. Oh, cute! Both of you, Jesus! Lily finds it difficult to resist a smile at her companion's nervousness, something I can't really blame her for. Been a tiring day. Yeah. I relax at my place, opposite of the cabinet. To my left is a blue-clad Lily, and to my right sinks the pink Hanako. The tea set on the table looks cute as well as practical. painted red with a floral motif. It looks odd when contrasted with Lily's plain but generally sophisticated looking furniture, which leads me to think that Hanako might have picked it out. There's a slight ting when Hanako accidentally clips the teapot on a cup as she is pouring. She breathes in sharply. She must be really nervous, as it's not the kind of thing anyone would worry about. Hanako quivers at her mistake. Okay, Hanako. There's no need to be nervous. Hanako seems to find some confidence in Lily's reassuringly soft-spoken words, and deftly pours in the next 2 cups. Here you are, Hisao, Lily. Hanako carefully places a cup and saucer in front of Lily and myself. I could get used to service like this. You and me both, Hisao, you and me both. Thank you, Hanako. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Oh! Her eyes lit up. Lily searches for her cup, and upon finding it, sips delicately. I do the same. This tea tastes somewhat better than the tea we usually have at school. I kind of want tea now. Maybe that's what I'll get. This is nice. It's so different from any tea I had before. Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. I've got some really good tea downstairs. Oh, you know what? I'm getting tea. Fuck it. I don't care if it's... Oh, but I'm just worried about, like, caffeine at 5. Is that okay? It's past 5. It's gonna be like 6 when I finish. You've done well, even if it was a bold move. Hanako's smile returns. Redoubled. Even with her blighted face, her shy smile can't be called anything but cute. Oh, it is cute. I'm glad you like it. Hanako, finally beginning to relax, sips from her cup. Something about this makes me think about Lily's question at breakfast. Why am I friends with Hanako? Lily seems genuinely concerned for Hanako's well-being, but it's not like I could do anything to help her. As far as I could tell, her scars don't hold her back physically, and everyone I've met seems to have overcome their disabilities to some extent. I don't have any ulterior motives to hang out with Hanako, we just share similar interests. Isn't that enough? So Hisao, are you enjoying yourself? Lily's words break me out of my reverie, and I take a second to reconsider where I am. In a room with 2 girls in their bedclothes, this is something to be enjoyed. Yeah, it's relaxing, almost like I'm not in the school anymore. Do you do this often? Quite often, but not as often as we take tea in the school building. Considering they do that every day, that's not a big surprise. As I move to take another sip from my teacup, I find it sadly empty. That was delicious. Thank you, Hanako, Lily. You're welcome. Yes, you're most welcome, Hisao. It's nice to have a third person here. Well, anytime you need someone to fill that position, I'm always available. Always. One must be sure to get one's point across in these circumstances. Lily lets loose a yawn, which she unsuccessfully hides with her hand. Both of you are absolutely adorable. Pardon me, I think I'm a little tired. I think we're all a little tired. My, how astute we are tonight, Hanako. We really should head to bed. We all have class tomorrow. Yeah, I should go. Thank you for your presence, Hisao. Thanks. You'll come again? Not even a whole army could stop me. I'm impressed by your determination, Hisao. Either way, you're right. We'd best get going. I stand up and make for the door. Hanako gingerly stands up behind me. God damn. I stop and face her. Are you coming with me? Hanako instantly blossoms into full blush. No, not this room isn't... It's okay, I was only joking. Oh, okay, good night. Good night, Hanako. Good night, Hisao. Are my avatar's eyes still closed? No, they're not. I know that my avatar's eyes just randomly close on their own sometimes, and I'm just left looking like, just, yeah, it's doing that right now. Why is it doing that? My eyes are very wide open. It just looks like, it kind of looks like Lily. Look at that. Night all. And with that, our tea party finishes. I assume this tea party happens in the non-doomed route as well. I'm still not sure what it is Lily wants me to do for Hanako, but I really don't want to let her down. I wait until the doors close behind us before turning to Hanako. Hey Hanako, you know, you don't have to be nervous around me or anything. I mean, we're friends, right? Right, we're friends. If you ever want to hang out or anything, just let me know. We still have to have that chess rematch, remember? Sure. But I don't think you'll win. I look at her mouth! Oh god! Oh. It wouldn't be any fun if it was easy. Hanako seems to have given a muted laugh, but it could have been just as easily been exhaling. Aww. You're so cute. Good night, Hisao. With that, Hanako quickly retreats into her room. Oh, located next to Lily's. I start to walk back to my dorm, but the simple act of walking seems to drain me of my energy. I barely make it to my room before I am hit by a wave of exhaustion. I kick off my shoes, fall into bed, and fall asleep by the time my head hits the pillow. I pull my door closed, ready for another day of classes. Sleep well? Kenji's sudden arrival makes me jump, and I narrowly avoid butting heads with him. I know he has poor eyesight, but he knows who I am now. Does he have to stand this close? Alright, Harry Potter. Oh yeah, like a baby. Damn, why do people say that? Have you ever heard a baby sleep? They scream all night, every night. Babies don't sleep well, ever. That's not true. Depends on the baby. But there goes my restful state. I have to remember to never use figures of speech with Kenji. Alright. I get your point. It was a figure of speech. Yeah, sure, whatever. Where were you last night? I have a favor to ask you, but you weren't around. For a split second, I considered telling Kenji the truth that I was spending time with Kanako and Lily. Thankfully, that split second passed as soon as it came. I was just out, checking the local area and stuff. You know, recon. Yeah, there you go. He's found out how to deal with Kenji. Good, man, good. I knew you were the type to plan ahead. Anyway, what was this favor you wanted? I was gonna get some takeout, but I needed change. Wait, what? I gave you money last week, and you still haven't paid me back. Oh yeah, I remember that. And I was there trying to think you were cool. Kenji fishes around in his pocket and produces his wallet. What? As he counts the 400 yen he owes me, I clearly see at least two 10,000 yen notes. Hey, what the hell? Why are you borrowing money off me when you got that much cash? Kenji hisses a little, realizing that he's been had. Get off my case, man. It's bad luck to break a big note for anything less than half its value. It's a tycoon's rule. Last night's dinner is gonna cost me 7 years of bad luck. 7 years. Don't you think that's enough cause to help someone out? I'd get a shorter sentence if I just stole the stuff. Common sense screams me to say something at him, but frankly, I restrain myself. Arguing a point like this with Kenji will just lead to further and more complicated discussion. You gotta offer a trade. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe you should plan these things a little better. Yeah, man. I know, but I've just got so much stuff to do, it's hard. Like what? You're never around anymore, so I'm on my own. We're supposed to be brothers in brotherhood, remember? Yeah, I get you. Global conspiracy and such. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Kenji draws closer. Ugh. Get a clear whiff of his garlic-tainted breath. What does he eat every day? You better man here. Spending less time here. That's the first thing they do. I'll try to split us up. Divide and conquer. Sun Tzu said that. Roger that. I've got to be good classes. I've got classes. Now I've got to be going. I've got classes. You coming? Nah, I'm tired. Stayed up all night to make sure nothing was going to have to happen after splitting that note. As rational as ever, I see. Whatever. Night. Kenji scurries back into his room, and I hear him throwing his locks as I walk down the hallway. And that is why some people can't roll their tongue, or why their second toe is longer than their big toe. He's longer than their big toe. Mine is. I thought that was normal, but apparently it's not. Whatever, apparently this is considered more attractive or whatever, so... I don't know. I don't know if it really matters for guys, though. Muto beams a half-moon smile at us, obviously proud of his explanation of recessive genes. However, no matter how impressed he is at the science that defines who we are, the classroom seems to be reduced to a stupor. Why is it a bad explanation can make even the most interesting things seem worthless? I can see Muto deflate as he realizes that nothing he's been said in the past half hour has sunk in. It's a shame. What? Weren't you a lot more chill with him in the last round? Poor Muto, jeez, he seems like a chill, he's a cool guy. Whispered conversations start to break the sounds, and like an avalanche, the noise level in the class starts to rise. Defeated, Muto identifies some questions from the textbook and starts clearing off the blackboard. Almost as expected, Hanako packs up her things and leaves as soon as people start talking and laughing among themselves. The initial shock of seeing someone play so blatantly truant has started to fade. But it doesn't stop me from wondering, is she leaving because she doesn't want people to speak to her, or is just the thought of people around her shattering her peace? Before I can think about the topic any further, the lunch bells ring. I wonder if she was simply taking the opportunity to leave early. The usual clamor of students exchanging books for lunch reverberates around the room, and while Misha is distracted, I grab my lunch and head out the door. Lilia already sits in the tea room, setting out her lunch alone. So, Hanako's not here then. Oh, Hisao, how are you? I haven't met Hanako since this morning, I'm afraid. That's right, Hanako and Lily live next to each other. Somehow I think their morning conversations are slightly more grounded than Kenji's ramp. Slightly is an understatement. That's strange, she left class early, so I figured she'd come here. So she's still leaving class early. Yeah, huh? Yeah, I've seen her do it a few times. Lily drops her head a little, and her tone of voice is notably depressed. It's very reminiscent of someone who is used to hearing bad news. So sure she'd stop doing that once you two became friends. Everyone has their own pace, I suppose. Well, I was just wondering about that today. Why exactly does she leave? I'm not entirely sure myself. I personally think it's because she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to answer someone. I have a flashback of my first meeting with her, when I thought she looked like a cornered animal. Maybe I wasn't so far from the truth. But she seems fine talking with you and me a bit. It's a little more complex than that. I imagine the first thing most people ask her about her is her scars and what happened. She really talks about it with me, but I can tell she doesn't like to remember whatever happened back then. Leaving class and running away from discussions is her preemptive strike, if you will. Huh. So then how does that explain her talking to me? You said it yourself yesterday at breakfast. You tried to ignore her scars. Once she saw that you weren't going to ask her about that, she opened herself up to you. Huh, I guess you're right. Maybe. I don't know. You know better than I, so I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't worry about that. I'm sure you'll come to know her as well as I do soon enough. I welcome the prospect of her having a new friend, and the two of you have such similar interests. Well, I hardly count reading as a team sport. It is good to have company, though. That's my point. Hanako's still an average person at heart. She also wants company at times like that. Huh, I see. To be honest, both of you still confuse me a little. It's only natural, Hisao. We've only known each other for a little while. It's unreasonable to expect you to understand us, just as we can't understand you. That is half the fun of being friends, right? Yes it is. Although, I suppose there is a matter of us being opposite genders. Men and women do seem to confuse each other quite often. She says this with a light giggle, finding amusement in the odd little details of life. Yeah, that's true. Aw, Lily. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to start eating. No, go ahead. I think I'll eat something, too. I've got books I want to drop back at the library before classes start, so I'd better get a move on. You'll probably find Hanako there as well. If you do see her, can you tell her to stop by my room later tonight? I'd like to talk to her. You're not coming. Unfortunately, I have a class representatives meeting later, so I'll be gone as soon as I finish my lunch. Okay then, if I don't see her in the library, then I'll tell her in class. I'm sure she'll be back after lunch. We fall silent as we start to eat, and I take a second to reflect on our conversation. I've always thought that Hanako's shyness was simply due to her self-consciousness of her scars, but that is a pretty superficial way of looking at her. Just when I thought I was able to see through the fog of Lily and Hanako, I realized that I'm more lost than when I started. Lily quickly finishes her lunch, acutely aware of her meeting. I don't blame her. Shizune is most likely to be there, and I doubt she wants to give it the satisfaction of another argument. I must be off. Same time tomorrow. Same time, same channel. I better head off too. I don't want to risk being late. Lily smiles gently, picks up her cane, and walks out the hall. I turn my back on Lily as we head in opposite directions. For some reason, I find myself hoping she doesn't get into another fight with Shizune. As much as I like Lily, Shizune and Misha have been pretty instrumental in helping me adjust, even if half of our conversations are thinly veiled recruitment attempts. Then again, I barely know either of them. Maybe they were previously leaders of some kind of secret society, but their love for each other drove them apart. Man, I need to stop reading cheap fiction. It's rotting my brain. Either that or I've got to move away from this Kenji and his bad influence. It's sad that I can't tell the two apart anymore. I slide the books down and the return chute, and they crash into the cart with a pleasant thud. Yuko, however, doesn't seem as impressed as I. Hisao, you scared me. Sorry, I thought you'd be used to that by now. Or is the literacy level here so low that nobody borrows any books? Huh? No, I think everyone here can read fine. Yeah, never mind. There's some battles you can never win. Trying to explain jokes is one of them. My dad taught me that the hard way. Say, Yuko, have you seen Hanako before? She left class early, but she wasn't in her usual hiding place. I think I saw her sneak in before lunch. Oh, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. I just told you I saw her leave. No need to stress out. Oh, of course, she's probably in the back. Thanks. Got any new books in recently? No, sorry. I'll let you know when we do, though. Okay. There's one thing I know about librarians, part-time or otherwise, is that they appreciate people who take genuine interest in their work. I walk the now familiar path to Hanako's reading nook, picking out a few titles along the way. Sometimes I find it hard to discover a book that'll interest me among the shelves. An author's name and two-word title doesn't mean much to see if similar words. Yeah! For that reason, I sometimes reread books that I've read in the past. Better to bet on a favorite than a new runner. An unfamiliar title from a familiar author peeks itself out among the spines of its neighbors, so I remove it from the shelf. At least I'm not going over old material. Aww. As expected, Hanako sits on her beanbag, buried deep in a copy of Dance, Dance, Dance. Hi, Hanako. How's it going? I find the urge to ask why she left class early. If Lily's suspicions were right, then asking her about that could have the opposite effect. Better to leave it for the time being. Sometimes the best way to get an answer from someone is to never ask the question. That is true. Aww. Hello, Hisao. I'm fine. Something seems off, and after a couple seconds, I realize what it is. Hanako's smiling. She looks as if she's pleased to see me. It's a nice change from the usual, instinctively frightened reaction. Sometimes I can hope to see more as we get to know each other better. Good to hear. How's that book? I heard it's a trip. It's good, I think. I only just started, so I don't really know. Fair enough. Let me know how it goes. I may borrow it once you're done. Sure. There's a good 15 minutes left in lunch. Not enough to really get into a book, but too much to stand around doing nothing. What about, Lily? And Hanako's already returned to her reading, so I doubt I'll get much conversation from her. Oh well, I better make myself comfortable. I slouch into a beanbag and crack open my book. The familiar style of the author leaps out at me from the very first line. As the sentences turn to paragraphs, I start to relax a little. No matter how I try, I can't seem to get into the atmosphere of the book. This is partly due to the lack of time, but the more distracting factor is Hanako. Every 10 or so seconds, she peers over the top of her book, but when our eyes meet, she quickly ducks behind the covers. I guess she did want to talk about something after all. What's up? You look like a prairie dog on lookout. It's nothing. I've told you before, nothing means something when you say it like that. Hanako squirms a little in her beanbag, hoping that by changing her position she'll find the word she's looking for. I was in an accident. Oh. Accident just now. Are you alright? Hanako shakes her head, her hair flowing around her shoulders in wisps of amethyst on a background of pale and dark flesh. No, when I was younger. Realization crashes me in, like, semi. When I was... It's alright, Hanako. You don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to. Again, she shakes her head. No. I have to tell you. When I was young, I was in a fire. My house burned down. I nearly didn't make it. Oh, the little kitty drawings. After that, I was alone. Hanako's eyes glisten in the dim light of the library and reach out to grasp her hand. It's okay, Hanako. You don't have to keep going. But, I have to. Why? What brought this on? Last night, Lily told me about your heart. And I didn't think it was fair. Fair? That I knew about you, but you didn't know about me. I squeeze Hanako's hand a little. Don't be silly. Yes, I have a heart condition. I lean a little closer to Hanako. I didn't tell Lily is that I had my first attack when a girl confessed to me. I smile a little to break the tension. Really? Really, I haven't heard from her for a while though, so I guess it's all over. I know it's all over. There's no other way to interpret what happened the last time I saw her. In some ways, not having heard from her again has helped me move on from that period of my life. So now we both know a little more about each other, but you don't have to talk about things if you don't want to. In fact, I feel a little bad even thinking about the whole incident again. I can almost smell the hospital's disinfectant burning the back of my sinuses again. I imagine Hanako's going through the same thing now. When I was in the hospital, I went to a burn ward once, and only once. I was bored, so I went through a walk through all the wards. I went through oncology. I thought I could take it. I went through oncology. Oncology, what's that? Hold on, let me look that up. Oncology. Oh, cancer treatment. I went through oncology and thought I could take it, but when I got to the burn ward, I turned around and went back to my bed. Yeah. The thing that Hanako would have... Oh, dear God. The thing that... He didn't even see anything. To think that Hanako would have spent months in a place like that, smelling nothing but corrupted skin, strong disinfectant, and sterilized air. The really bad cases were kept in isolated pods that no foreign object could enter. That would have meant no reading. I would have gone insane if I didn't have any books in the hospital. And she said she was alone. Did her parents die? I'll have to ask Lily about that. I could imagine myself saying something dumb unintentionally. Thank you, Hisao. I haven't told many people about this. To be honest, I haven't told many people about my circumstances either. Then I won't tell anyone either. Deal. I changed my grip on Hanako's hand into a handshake as the warning bells chimed through the window. Well then, we better head back to class then, eh? Sure. You forgot to tell her to meet Lily. Oh! That was short. So already. Okay. I want to keep going. It's almost 6. Do I keep going? I'll leave it off at here. Alright! Hey, we got another photo. Okay, a little drawing. Okay, okay. We made some good headway there. That was fun. I'm really enjoying this. Also, I feel like my throat's gotten tougher or something. I don't like absolutely obliterate my throat anymore. Or maybe it's because these like no, that's not true. All of them are roughly an hour long. Okay, I need a drink. Ugh. Anyways, where was I? Okay. I'm really enjoying this game. Okay. Okay. I hope you all liked that. If you did, please leave a like, a subscribe, and comment down below. And make sure to smash that bell. Yeah! Okay. I hope you all enjoyed that episode, folks. The sky is up, and you guys are awesome. I will see you all next episode. Bye-bye.